name is Janine Davis, and I am a member of Pushing Lovely, the Facebook group and blog. And we are here tonight to have one of our hangouts. We're very fortunate because we have Tazim Damji, who's going to speak with us about scheduling our social media efforts, and we're all excited about this topic, and it's something we all do and would like to be able to do better and more efficiently. Before I turn everything over to Tazim, I would like to just let you know about some of our upcoming hangouts. We have one on December 30th about business planning. It's part 2 of our business planning sessions. We have one on January 2nd, hosted by Sherelle Lowry on planning for 2014. And we have another one on January 6th about advocating for yourself. So we have some exciting things coming up. But before we get to those, we have tonight's exciting hangout where we are really excited to have Tazim talk to us about scheduling on social media. So with that, I'm going to turn everything over to Tazim so that she can share this information with us, and I'll be able to take lots of notes. Okay, thank you.
Hi, everyone. I just wanted to talk a bit today about social media scheduling, just so we can make the most of our time and actually spend time with our families and not have to worry about being online all the time, being on our smartphone to make sure our posts are being put out there. And definitely scheduling is one way to make the most of your time, the little bit of time that you want to spend online actually posting your posts. To make the most of your time online by scheduling social media, I've got some things to keep in mind before we talk about specific places where you can schedule. One thing is, why do you want to schedule? One reason would be to be able to post at optimal times during the day and throughout the week. Another is you might be on vacation, or you want to take a day off to spend with your family, or you just don't want to be online every single minute of the day. So you want to make sure that your posts are being shared and promoted while you're away and while you're off the computer. Another is to push your posts throughout the day and the week and not have to worry about just posting when you're online and making it live right at that second. And in terms of best times to post, this is something that comes up often. If you do a Google search, look on Pinterest, you can see probably hundreds of different infographics telling you the optimal times to post on different social media sites, how often you should post, that kind of thing. But really, that's all very debatable, and you'll often find there's contradictory information depending on the infographic or the site that you look at. So my kind of suggestion or solution for this is it's social media, it's free, you can do some experimenting, see what works best for your niche and also your demographics. So you might have, say, work-at-home moms that you're trying to reach with your posts. So most likely they would be available during the day. Maybe they might not be as available during the weekend. They're spending time with their family. Could be completely opposite. You really just have to check your analytics on the different social media sites to figure out what those best times are for your audience. And then, I mean, you can definitely change that up. If something's not working, it's really easy to just make those adjustments as you go, because it's very little effort to just post something on Twitter and then you can figure out, well, I'm not getting any engagement at that time, I'll try it another time, or Facebook, or wherever you're posting. Another thing to keep in mind is, because people are online at different times throughout the day, and also you may have a reach, say, internationally or in another country where it's a different time zone. And in order to make the most use out of social media and getting the most reach for your posts, it would be a good idea to schedule throughout the day, and also, during the night when it might be not optimal for your time zone. But if you want that sort of international push, that might be a good idea to do that and look into that. So to post content several times a day, I know Janine does this a lot, where she'll post the same thing or just tweak it a little bit throughout the day on Facebook to her personal profile. You can do this on your Facebook page, because people will not all be seeing it at the same time, and we all know how kind of finicky it is with social media. You never know who's actually getting that post in their feed. So it's a really good idea to post that frequently. And this is really where scheduling is very beneficial. Another thing to keep in mind just overall is what are your goals? So think about your overall business, marketing, and blog goals before you start scheduling on social media. And this will help you determine what social media platforms you post on, how often, and other strategies that you're using that go along with it. So one example, maybe your goal is just to get your posts indexed on Google, so where they'll come up in the search engines, and you'll get searched by the Google bots kind of thing. So maybe you want to just put your posts on Google Plus by pressing the +1 on your post and not worrying too much about how it looks. You just want it to be indexed. And if that's your goal, then that's fine. That's one thing that you can do. Say with giveaways, you may want to post that quite frequently on all of your social media platforms, but say especially on Twitter, using a hashtag like Win It Wednesday kind of thing, to just really push that giveaway that you have. So that goal that you have of pushing that giveaway means that you may want to be scheduling more often than you would be for other types of posts. If your goal is engagement, you're going to want to schedule posts, but also you can schedule retweets, sharing other people's contents other than just your own, responses and comments, but you'll want to just kind of mix that up so that people know that you're a real human being and not just a bot on Twitter, constantly posting your own things, something that's done automatically only. So along with scheduling for Twitter especially, make sure that you're engaging if that is your goal. Okay, so I don't know if there's any sort of thoughts on that so far or any questions before I get into the specific sites for scheduling. No, looks okay. Okay, so just one thing I wanted to kind of point out or bring up in terms of scheduling is Facebook. And this is something that's been brought up a lot recently from my colleagues and clients and different people, is when scheduling on Facebook, they don't seem to get as much reach or engagement as they do when they schedule on Facebook from other sites. So things like Hootsuite or Buffer posting to Facebook, they're getting a lot more benefit than posting directly on Facebook in the pages. I don't know if anyone else has noticed this, but I would say that I have noticed that, and so I've got a few recommendations for ways that you can schedule on Facebook elsewhere. So my favorite site that I like to use is Hootsuite. Just do a screen share here. Are you able to see my screen?
The screen looks kind of crazy. It's not right.
Okay.
Google had this problem a few days ago. It may not be you. It may be something on their end. So try it again and see if we can see it.
Yeah, it looked like it was a million different screens all at once. Let's see if it works. Oh, yeah, it's doing the same thing. That's okay. But it's Hootsuite, Hootsuite. I'm sure a lot of you have heard of it. Maybe you're using it already. But what I like about it is that you can schedule to quite a few different platforms all at the same time on the same place. So Twitter, and you can have different Twitter lists. So I love making lists of different sort of niches or types of people that I'm following. Say I might have a Pushing Lovely Twitter list, and I can see all of the posts that they're posting right on Hootsuite. So if I'm just wanting to, say, promote a Pushing Lovely post, then I would go to that list on Hootsuite and be able to do that really easily. You can put in search terms for Twitter chats that you're in, ongoing conversations, maybe an event or something that's being posted about frequently on there, and a lot of other things that you can do with Twitter in terms of Hootsuite. Facebook, your personal and pages, as well as Facebook groups. And what I love is that you can actually post to multiple things at the same time. Say you want to post to your Pushing Lovely group or some other group that you're in, but also maybe multiple ones, or maybe your own personal page. You don't have to do anything else. You just select the different accounts on Hootsuite for posting. And Google Plus pages. So if you've got a business page on Google Plus, that's a great way to be able to schedule on there. Currently, there isn't a way to schedule for your personal Google Plus on Hootsuite. If you're interested in doing that, you can use the Chrome. There's an extension with Chrome that you can schedule to your personal profile. Right now, I have myself and 2 clients that I post on their Google Plus personal pages, personal profiles every day, but that's okay. That's enough to handle. But if it ever exceeded that, I might consider switching to Chrome just so I can get that extension. But right now I prefer using a different browser. But another thing you can schedule on Hootsuite is LinkedIn. And you can actually schedule to your own LinkedIn profile, but also just like with Facebook, you can schedule to different groups that you're in on LinkedIn, which is really just great for time saving. One benefit of Hootsuite, another one, is mass scheduling. So if you are really organized or know that you're going to be on vacation, say, you can create a document, and they actually have a quick video and tutorial to show you how to do that if you are stuck. So you can create a document with all of your tweets, and then you basically just upload it, and it will schedule it out based on the schedule that you kind of suggest, or they've got a suggested one that they can do for you as well. So Hootsuite's a really great one to use for sure. Another one that has scheduling for different social media all on one is Buffer. And I actually use both of them at the same time, or both for my social media scheduling. With Buffer, it's slightly more limited just in terms of the amount that you can, the amount of accounts you can have on there, with it being the free account. But with Hootsuite, I did get the pro account so that I could schedule all of my clients' accounts all at once. But with Buffer, I just use it for myself mostly, and I would just have my one Facebook page and my one Google Plus page and my my Twitter. And so that I use at the same time as Hootsuite, because I love it. So you can kind of highlight text on a website, and then you just click the Buffer thing in the browser that you've got, the toolbar that you have, and it will select the best time that it will add it to your buffer based on your predetermined times that you put in, or you can actually schedule time now, so that's great. So you can schedule the time that you want that posted. The reason why I use both of those at the same time is buffer I find really quick. I've got my set times in there, and I can just quickly click the button. It will shorten the link. It will just tell me that it's added to my, can't remember what they call it on buffer, but it's in your schedule and it's ready to go. With Hootsuite, you've got to, you can press the thing where they suggest a time for you, but it's just a little bit more time consuming. But anyway, those are a couple of different options for multiple platforms. Specific ones for different social media. Twitter, there's a TweetDeck, and what's great about that compared to Hootsuite for Twitter is for Twitter parties or chats, you can schedule it on TweetDeck to the minute, versus on Hootsuite it's only every 5 minutes, and sometimes those Twitter chats go by really quickly, so the to the minute scheduling might be a better idea for you for that sort of purpose. Another thing could be, I've had this actually for my case, is one of my clients is using Hootsuite for their Twitter account, and I can't use that at the same time, so I'm using TweetDeck for their account so that I also have access to it. And for Instagram, there's actually a fairly new site. It's posts.co, so posts.co. It's unfortunately not a free service, but there is a 14-day free trial that you can use to check that out. Other than that, it is, I believe, $15 a month for just a basic one with one account. 50 posts, which I think is a fair amount for Instagram. So that's one place that you can check out for scheduling on Instagram. And with Instagram, one thing I've noticed, just kind of going back to Facebook, is that my posts that I put on Facebook from Instagram get really great engagement. You can kind of check this out yourself. But even if I post it once on, say, my personal profile, I get really good engagement that way. Couple days later, I will share it again onto one of my Facebook pages, and it can just keep going. So that's another way that you can kind of get really good engagement and schedule it out if you want to try out that service. There's quite a few different ones for Pinterest. So I'll just mention a few that I have kind of more thoroughly checked out and have some feedback on. Ahology, A-H-A-L-O-G-Y, is one that you have to kind of apply for, and if you're accepted, you have one account, and you can see sort of the rankings of your pins. So they'll give it kind of a rating. 100 is the best, and they'll rate it on different things like composition, lighting, just some things like that, and how well it kind of does in terms of being repinned, likes, that kind of thing. And it will pull up your own pins, so that the idea, anyway, it's a pretty new service, is that people in the community will be repinning yours, and you'll have their pins to kind of select based on higher ratings, hopefully. I mean, see how that goes, but yeah, you can select other people's pins within the community to repin, and because those have the higher ratings, hopefully you'll get good interaction on them yourself. But yeah, that's just one that you can kind of check out. There's been a little bit of debate as to how effective it is for getting new followers yourself, if that is one of your goals, and to get your own pins repinned. But because it is new, I mean, I'm sure there will be a few kind of kinks to work out with that, and it's a good idea to just try it out. Go Pixel is another one. That one is one account again, and there's only 3 pins that you can have in your queue there, which may be enough. Say if you're doing 3 pins a day, that might be plenty for you, depending on your goals. At least you've kind of got it going, and you've got your pins being, your pin boards being refreshed with new pins regularly. One that I have been trying out and I really like, I just got the subscription to it, Viral Tag, and it is, there's 3 different types of accounts you can have there, and I chose to get the one where you can have up to 5 different Pinterest accounts. I've got 3 myself, and then I post on Pinterest for clients, so that works out really well. It's a great way to be able to kind of do Pinterest scheduling all at once and not have to worry about going at the right time of day and going on there every day kind of thing. So that is one that I have been using and I really like. It's viraltag.com. And like the other sites, it does have a trial, so you can check that out and see if it's one that will work best for you, and you're seeing some benefit from it. But I really like being able to just go to any website and click on the Viral Tag tab in my toolbar, and it will actually pull up multiple images. You can choose the board that each one goes to, so you can have them different pictures on different boards. Choose the time that it will schedule it, or just post it now. And on there you'll see in your toolbar how well the pin does, so it will show you how often it's been repinned kind of thing. So there's a little bit of analytics there as well as the scheduling. So that's kind of it in terms of the sites specifically. Did anyone have any questions at all, or have you tried out any of the different sites?
I use Pinterest. That's the only one I used. I tried Buffer, but I didn't see why I needed that and Hootsuite. But these ones that you're using for Pinterest, my Pinterest is very weak. It's not good at all, so I'm trying to figure out ways to increase that. So I'm going to be looking at these Pinterest ones you were talking about. Do you think that the Pinterest sites help with engagement, or I don't know, what do you think that the scheduling? I think the scheduling helps me with Twitter and Facebook because I do get people who come to see me because of that. Will the scheduling with Pinterest work in a similar way?
With Pinterest, I find that if I post, and this is what happens to work for me, and it does sort of align with what is recommended in terms of times for posting on Pinterest, is kind of later at night and on the weekends. So it depends on whether or not you want to be getting the most out of your pins by posting at those particular times. If you just want to have something on your Pinterest boards just to fill them up, then maybe scheduling might not necessarily work as well for you, or might not be something you want to spend time doing.
No, I like your idea. I want to have, like you were talking about, have the engagement, and I want to do it at the right time. And I know, like with Hootsuite, I can do that the beginning of the month, and I Hootsuite my whole month, so it's done. And some stuff that I do all the time, like my teeny bopper gave me this good idea about inspirational music on your cell phone. So I share that once.
Sorry, I don't know if you cut out there. I can't hear you though.
Okay, sorry about that. I know Pinterest, I don't have time to sit at the time you're supposed to pin and actually pin. So I think the scheduling would work good for me because I can do like I do with my Facebook and Twitter. I can tell it to go pin at the right time so that people will see it and I can get the engagement because I want engagement. I don't want to just fill the board up for me to look at. I wrote it. I know what it says. So I want to follow your advice for doing it at the certain times. And I want to use one of these programs you're talking about for the timing so I can do that. So that's a good idea for me. So I'm going to try that. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. Well, yeah, I really like having the scheduling of pins. I just recently started doing that and just noticed that before what I was doing is just going and pinning, but then you get, say, 20 or so pins all at the same time, and it really fills up everybody's feed. So with the scheduling, what's good is that it spreads everything out. You can say, with viral tag anyway, you can spread it out, say, every 10 minutes, or you can start it at midnight and have it go every half an hour, once a day even if you'd like. So yeah, I would definitely recommend at least checking out their 14-day free trial, see if that's what you like to do.
Thank you.
Did anyone else have any questions, or are they using any scheduling so far?
Can y'all hear me? I have a question.
Yeah.
You can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Oh, what was I about to ask? Oh, okay. You brought up a really good point about the list on Twitter and how to about how you in Hootsuite can schedule a list if you just want to promote the people that are on that list. How do you? I know how to make the list in Twitter, but how do you designate that news feed in Hootsuite, that particular list?
What you do is, it's too bad the screen sharing's not working, but you go, so you've got the tabs in Hootsuite, and then you go to the particular tab. Say I've got my tabs by different social media, so I've got my Twitter for my one account, and then I would put or click on plus and then add stream, and it brings up this sort of pop-out window, and then there's.
I'm gonna add a string. I'm following you there.
Okay.
Okay, but how do I add that particular? See, when I tried to add a stream before, one, I didn't even know you could do that. But before in trying to add the stream, it just allowed me to add just like my Choosy Lovers account. It didn't allow me to do like a list. Should it show the list when it? You understand what I'm saying? I'm sorry, the baby's crying.
That's okay. Yeah. So I'm not sure if you're there now, but yeah, you click Add Stream from the particular tab you're on, and then you'll see there's. So if you choose, say, Twitter, you can choose Stream, Search, Keyword, and Lists, and then you choose again your Twitter account, and then all your lists should pop up. Is that making sense?
Yes, it is. Thank you. I muted it so I could.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, so all of your lists should show up there, and you can create a new list from that same pop-up window as well.
Okay, great. I'm good at following directions, so it's okay that the screen wasn't working.
Okay, good. Yeah, and from that you can say if you search for a hashtag, you can add that search as a stream as well.
Just the hashtag search.
Right, yeah, if you click search on Hootsuite and you choose the hashtag, at the bottom of that search it says save as stream.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah, there's quite a few different things that you can play around with on Hootsuite. Is there any more questions or any more feedback or anything about scheduling? Is this something that you're going to try and implement more?
Yes.
I am definitely going to try to implement it more. How often do you have to set aside, just for yourself, not even for your clients, how often do you have to set aside, how much time to schedule? How much time should we be dedicating to scheduling?
Well, typically for, say, one of my clients, for all of their social media accounts, I would say between 1 and 2 hours a week is kind of the limit. It shouldn't really take much longer than that. But you may not want to be scheduling to every single thing. You might want to, say, concentrate on Twitter or Facebook or both of those. Then you could schedule time, say maybe even half an hour. You could get quite a bit done in half an hour with scheduling. If you're just mostly posting your own posts, if you're sharing from other websites, you could put in the Hootlit bookmarklet in your toolbar. So whenever you're online doing whatever else you're doing, and you see a great article, then you would be able to just schedule it then. That's what I do. But for my own
idea.
Sorry?
That's a great idea. Thank you.
Yeah, that's why I like Buffer. But I mean, Hootsuite works similarly in terms of just being able to click the sort of icon in your toolbar just whenever you're online and just schedule it in. Or schedule it for several times, like I was saying. I mean, if you find a great article, why just kind of waste it and use it once? You can put it on your Facebook page, you can put it on Twitter, Google Plus if you use that, pin it, get the most value out of it. But yeah, I mean, even half an hour a week, really, you can do quite a bit. Or like Janine does, you can schedule for the whole month with the bulk sort of update that you can do onto Hootsuite.
Now on Hootsuite, do you have to have the pro version to do the bulk scheduling, or is that available in the free one?
It's available in the free one, so you just go to where you update, so compose message, and then you click on scheduling. And it should say, want to save time, try the bulk message uploader.
Matt, and for Hootsuite, for me, I don't have the paid version because I'm trying to stick to a certain budget. But one tip that I would have is when you're scheduling your events, I always go to the thing that says past schedule because it has an easier calendar to follow. Instead of going to just where you schedule events, if you go down a little bit on the left-hand side, you'll see something that says past schedule. And that gives a nice calendar view of all the hours to make it easier to schedule for people who don't have the bulk scheduling professional package.
Thank you.
I'm just trying to see where that is on Hootsuite. It's just in the left toolbar.
Give me 1 second. I'm pulling it up now so I can give you exactly where it is.
Okay, yeah, I just found it. Yeah, it's in the left toolbar, and you click on Publisher, that sort of paper airplane looking thing. And then you can click on Past Scheduled. Well, there you go. I learned something new. I haven't been using this myself. Wow, that's really handy. You can kind of move it around.
Okay, Tazim, I have a question real quick. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Actually, I have 2 questions, and I may have missed this. Is there any type of scheduling for Instagram?
There is. It's fairly new, and it's paid, but you can schedule.
Okay.
And it's posts, so posts.so.
POSTFO?
I'll just put it in the chat
Okay.
here.
Okay, cool beans.
But
And
there's a free 14-day trial, so you can just check that out and see if that's even something you'd like to do.
okay, thank you.
But yeah, it's $14.95 a month, and it's for one account. Would be great if you had an event or something that you were wanting to promote.
Okay. And my second question is there a particular like formula that you use as far as what you're sharing throughout the day? So like maybe 2 posts from yourself, one from someone else, or is there a particular formula that you go by?
Not for myself, but for my clients, I typically post, say, one of their posts at least, and then 2 others, and then also retweet at least 1 or 2 people, and then thank followers kind of thing. And then, say, on a Friday, I would do a Friday follow. But it really depends on the particular goals. So maybe someone doesn't actually create much content, so there wouldn't be much of their own content to share. So it would be mostly just useful articles or retweeting. But no, I don't have a particular formula. It kind of just depends on your own goals.
Okay, thank you.
But for myself, I mean, I think depending on how you sort of write the tweet, if it's a tweet, it doesn't necessarily have to sound like it's you selling yourself. It could, be like, hey, there's this useful article. You wouldn't say that, but just the idea is that you aren't necessarily saying, well, I'm just, selling my own posts and my own products kind of thing. It's just putting out useful content and being seen as a resource, not. Yeah. So I think you can post your own content quite frequently, and it would still be seen as fine.
Okay, awesome, thank you.
Yeah, and then there's of course, with the different social media sites, there's different ways to post. So you could post, say, a picture on Facebook with just a quick link, and maybe on Google Plus you might go into the post more, and those are still talking about the same post, but just using the content in a different way and using the different social media sites to kind of the best of their own abilities. So rather than worrying too much about the frequency, it's just being specific and particular to that particular platform. And then, I mean, you can post a picture on Twitter with just a quick message about the post and not even necessarily always give the link to it. So just to kind of change it up a bit. Right. Did anyone have anything else to share or questions at all?
I have a quick question about something you just said. You said to change it up a little bit, just talk about the post without having a link to it. I take your word for it that that's a good thing because this is your area of expertise. Can you just explain to me so that I'll know why that's a good idea? Because like I said, I know it's a good idea because you're saying it, but why does that work?
Well, it's just that, I mean, I would say more so people's goals, this is kind of a generalization, but it would be to be kind of seen as a resource, and you want people to be coming back to you as an authority, and you know what you're talking about on that subject. So it's not necessarily always that you're trying to push them to your blog posts. It's that they say you want people to come to your Facebook page if you have one. You would want to push out great content, not necessarily take them off of there just to go to your Facebook or your blog post. So just having snippets from your post, say a couple of great lines in your post, maybe a quote, and putting that on your Facebook page or Twitter. You can add your picture from your blog post if you'd like, or a different one. It's just ways to kind of reuse your content that you've already written in different ways. So without having to keep creating new content, you can get great resources out there, and people will be coming back to you because you are posting really great stuff rather than the same thing all the time or always wanting them to go to your blog post.
That is so excellent. I'm going to be copying that today. Okay, because, well, not today, tomorrow, because Sunday is Hootsuite Day, but I am copying it. Thank you so much, because now I understand. You know what I'm saying? I knew it was a good idea. I wasn't doubting that, but when you explained everything you just did, that is such excellent advice. I'm copying it. Thank you.
I'm glad. Yeah, I mean, it gets a little, not really irritating, but when you see the same kind of thing posted all the time, like, hey, there's this great article, check it out, go over here. It just gets a little bit repetitive, and I mean, you don't want to necessarily go somewhere else to read the great stuff. Like, give me the great stuff in this Facebook page post, or give me this really great quotable tweet that you want to put on Twitter.
No, because I'm one of those
I'll
irritating people. I'm one of those irritating people doing the same thing over and over and over. But now I am. Well, I am. I mean, I can't lie. Y'all see it. But now with your advice, it makes it. I can do the post to my blog, but also just giving the information, like you said, so that I just like it. I think that's great advice, and it's going to make me better. So I'm excited. This one sentence that you just gave, this one little section, this paragraph, was worth the whole Hangout to me. I am thrilled.
Oh, I'm glad to hear it. And that's one thing I really like about Buffer, is why I use both of them, but Buffer and Hootsuite, is it's so easy to highlight your text, a quote or something. You hit the Buffer button, it's done. You can kind of take snippets of your posts that way. And you can take out the link that way too if you want to. But yeah, that's one reason why I use both. Whatever works best for you. All right, so except there's no other questions or anything, we'll finish off.
Okay, 1 second. I'm going to stop the broadcast, and then I have one thing to say. 1 second, my mouse.